Hello, my name is Magdalena Edmonson, but most people call me Maggie. I wrote the book Grace and Gratitude, Developing Personal Prayer. This is mostly the synopsis of my life because I had a terrible time developing prayer and be consistent with it. So eventually I started writing down what I wanted to say to God, and then I'd write down what God might say back to me. After a while, what he said to me didn't sound like me anymore. So I figured I probably had a two-way conversation with God. Now, I did check this out with people who are smarter than I am, so that I wasn't going off the deep end and doing something really silly. But the book came about with some of the excerpts from my writings, which I thought were good enough that other people might benefit from it as well. I have a whole list of what I call my parables, where I would ask the Lord a question and he would answer in a very strange way. One of them was, once I asked him, how come sometimes I can hear you, but sometimes I can't? And the answer was, what kind of transmission does your car have? And I said, automatic? He said, well, in an automatic transmission, sometimes you hear the gears shift, but other times you don't. But if you're really paying attention, you can hear them. And so that is the way with prayer. When I'm really listening for God, he answers my questions, but not audibly in my ears, but in my thoughts. And when I have a thought that sounds really good, but it's not something I normally think of, I sometimes feel that that's God talking to me. So all this is explained in the first two chapters. And then the rest of the chapters are about my own personal prayer. And this is what I call Maggie's Prayer. And there's 10 little parts to that, and each of the next 10 chapters are parts of this prayer. The first one is, I want to trust God completely. And so there's a whole chapter on trust. And then I want to be obedient to him in all things. And that's on obedience. And then I want to be wise in his ways, and a credit to his name, and a pleasure in his sight. And I want to walk with him, talk with him, and abide in his love. I want to be continually filled with his Holy Spirit. I want to know him, love him, and serve him all the days of my life. I want to be able to do the things he did, or anything that he wants me to do, and I want to live with him eternally. So those are the other chapters in the book. There is, I believe it's in chapter 6, there's an extensive thing on forgiveness, which is very important in the Christian life. So I'm hoping that you might enjoy it as well and get some good out of it, or even give it to someone you think that it might help. So it is now available in some bookstores and on Amazon and other places, and I hope you really enjoy my book.